Hey guys, what's going on? This is Indy, and in this video, I'm going to go back to the old commentary style of 3v3s. For this video, we'll see how it goes, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be commentating some Godcomp 3 vs 3 that I played on my Holy Paladin. Enjoy. So, over here we're fighting a Turbo Cleave as Godcomp, and now Turbo Cleave is going to be doing a lot of pressure to our casters because they have a lot of purges, just because the Shaman gets to spam purge all day. Right now it looks like they're switching between my mage and me. They're putting a little bit more pressure on me, so I'm running line of sight. We're trying to do our wombo combo pressure to the warrior, so I hodge him so they're able to cast on him without him reflecting or doing any nonsense. He gets into defensive stance after getting to about half health. We get a fear on the Resto Druid, and now the Resto Druid's in a silence, and we get the warrior to pop his heal. Now the warrior's back up to about 80%. It looks like he's going to be okay. I throw an NS over on the mage, and I'm still just trying to line of sight the DPS. They're still splitting. The enhanced shaman is on me. He throws down a cap. The warrior's just training my mage, trying to stop the mage from casting. The shaman's throwing off shears on polymorphs and stuff like that. I'm still trying to juke some shears, maybe get the shear on me instead of my mage. I throw a sack onto the mage to make sure that he's okay. And right now we're pretty much just trying to survive till our team gets their burst up again. Godcomp can burst pretty much every Psychic Horror and every Hodge, so that's pretty much every 30 seconds we can do a lot of damage. Now they're doing some serious damage to me, but we have a full polymorph on the Resto Druid, and we're trying to get some reverse pressure over onto the warrior. Now my Save by the Light did proc over here, so I'm a little nervous, so I'm just running line of sight. My mage is peeling for me by throwing Novas up. I get the reflect off of the warrior with a denounce, so my casters can keep casting into him. I did mess up a little bit over here and went line of sight of my mage, so the warrior followed me, and I did juke a pummel over there. So now all I have to worry about is the wind shear. I do get locked on the wind shear though, so now I'm just running around. My mistake, because I'm not really used to playing with casters, so I end up getting life gripped and I freedom sprint myself even further away. The warrior decides to switch targets off of me and goes back on my mage. Now my mage has both melee on him and I'm a little concerned, so I'm just sitting over here. I throw a denounce on the warrior and make him not able to crit. And it turns out that they don't have too much burst for my mage, so I'm able to keep him stabilized. I throw a sack on him because I feel like the burst is coming up now. We get another heal off on the warrior. There's a full polymorph now on the druid, though, and the warrior's at about half health with no trinket, so I'm running in trying to get a hodge, but he did line of sight, so it turns out that that burst moment is not going to be happening, and they did throw up grounding and mass spell reflection as well. Now my mage is at about 30%. Saved by the Light did proc over there, so now I'm a little concerned for my mage, and now they're switching to me with the Stormbolt. They fear me, they get me a little low, they're switching back to my mage, and my mage blocks, my fear breaks, and now their DPS are both on me now. Now my Save by the Light is going to proc right here, so once again that saved me. I throw an NS up on myself, so I'm able to get topped off, especially with my Save by the Light shield saving my ass. I'm using my Paladin shield wall off cooldown. Now we get some huge damage onto this Resto Druid here. He has no trinket, he popped out in the open, he wasn't in bear form, and he was just completely in really bad positioning there, and our team took advantage of his bad positioning to punish him for it by death. Now in this video, we're still playing Godcomp and we're fighting against a KFC. Now the KFC is going to be training my mage, presumably to stop all of the polymorphs and get blocks and bops and hopefully just shut down our damage, because Shadow Priests have instant cast, so they can't really shut down Shadow Priest damage, but they can shut down mage damage. Now, I got CC'd in the opener, but they didn't really take advantage of it with a lot of damage. So now I'm just sitting over here, line of sighting the Resto Druid, keeping him from coming over here. I throw a sack onto my mage, just to mitigate some damage over here. I didn't use it for a trap, but now I'm Stormbolted, and my mage is kind of out of my range, so I need to push up a little bit, which is not the best thing. I tell my mage that, he comes back, and I'm able to pull back a little bit further. So now the Hunter and the Druid are both really far away from me. He's able to cast Wyvern on me. I tried to line of sight it there, but I did mess up and come back out at the wrong time, so Saved by the Light does proc. I'm spamming bop over here. I do get a bop. We overlap with block because we were... I mean, you saw how low he got. So, they ended up getting the bop off, and I was in a Cyclone. I throw a sack on my mage after that, and right now I get Stormbolted. I'm running around trying to catch my mage in my line of sight so I can heal him up, and they don't have any pummels up right now, so I'm able to just cast into him, and he's totally fine. But at the same time that this is all going down, I get a Hodge onto the Hunter, and we're doing so much counter pressure onto this Hunter that we force a deterrence. The Druid was in a full polymorph, so he couldn't really get out of it because he had no trinket, and we silence him out. So right now, this Hunter is still really low. He gets Iron Bark put on him by the Druid, and the Druid's in tree form just trying to get him topped. Now, we're going to be a little scared for a little while because we have to play passively, because we're Godcomp, we only have damage every 30 seconds, so I need to make sure that my mage doesn't die. But Hodge is coming up soon, so I know that we're going to have damage ready really soon, as soon as they're ready to go and they have Psychic Horror. So I'm just staying back, playing passively, trying to keep my mage topped off, and they get a full wyvern on me over here, and now they're going to do a lot of damage to my mage. So once again, I'm a little scared. I throw a bop on him, they throw a stun on me at the same time as I throw the bop, so he's able to be totally fine throughout the duration of that stun. We get a full polymorph on this druid, and I throw a Hodge onto that hunter right out of the psychic horror. We're doing a lot of damage to him. He has reflect up, they do reflect onto the mage. This hunter is still really low. Druid's feared in bear form, and the hunter is at about like 10% around the pillar, 20% now. Druid comes over, gets him to half health. They use a pummel on my mage, and right now I'm stunned into a cyclone. My Save by the Light procs on the mage, so my mage is going to be okay for a little while. I'm going to be popping wings out of here, but I do get trapped. So now I'm telling my mage to block because, you know, we're really out of options here. My priest mass dispels the trap into a half cyclone, into a half bash, but my mage just sits the block and he's totally fine. So now I'm trying to go run back line of sighting the warrior and the hunter, trying to, you know, avoid some CC. The hunter is way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm going over there to Hodge out of the psychic horror so we can do some damage to him. The druid is going to be able to just displacer beast over though, and he's not being CC'd right now. We do get a silence on him, but we're not able to follow up on it really. The priest is running in to try and get a fear. He does get the fear, but he trinkets it immediately. I have a sack on my mage, and I'm able to sack the trap that they throw on me. So now the mage is pulling back. We don't really have much damage right now, so we're just trying to peel and live right now. I'm trying to get his water elemental up because his water elemental is actually a lot of damage for frost mages. But now we have to look at the bright side. They don't really have too many cooldowns left. The druid has treeform coming up soon, but he has no trinket. They get a full wyvern on me. I decide to trinket this. Not the best call because they do throw a stun on me and they're popping cooldowns onto my mage. So I decide to bubble that, and then on top of that I pop wings. I could have made a better decision there, and just bubbled first and been able to keep him up with just bubble, but I wasn't able to. So we get a full fear on the druid with no trinket, and then a silence out of that. We're doing a lot of damage to this hunter. We're trying to get him down, but it doesn't look like he's going to be dying here because the druid's just going to be line of sighting with the hunter and able to keep him up. He dips down to about 8% health there. I'm throwing denounces on him, trying my best to keep him low, but there's not really much you can do as a holy paladin healer besides keep people from critting. So now we're trying to run around the pillars. I throw freedoms onto my mage to keep him, you know, catching up to him. He throws a full ring of frost down onto this resto druid. We get a Hodge onto the hunter, and now we're trying to do a lot of damage to him. I get stunned here, and they're going to be throwing a trap out of that, so now I'm full trapped, and I don't really have a way out. But they do break the trap, so I'm able to just keep my mage up. I get half wyvern now. Druid's in tree form. He's just free casting heals onto this hunter, so we know we're not really going to be able to go for a kill here unless we get an amazing CC chain, but we can't get polymorphs on a resto druid in tree form, so we decide to just pull back and make sure that we can live until our next DPS rotation. He's polymorphing the warrior, trying to keep damage off of him, especially during his avatar. And over here, I know that the hunter is going to be coming for a trap on me soon, so I throw a sack onto my mage, and I end up sacking that trap, and I'm totally fine throughout the whole thing. Now, he pops Bestial Wrath, so we get a Psychic Horror on him, and we're going to try and counter this with a lot of damage. We get a Deep Freeze onto the Resto Druid into a Ring of Frost. I try to Hodge to follow up the Psychic Horror, but as you guys saw, it reflected. Hunter pops another Deterrence. Druid's in a full fear. So right now, they're in a little bit of a shit storm right now. They don't really have any cooldowns, and we're able to just kind of kill the Hunter with that full fear onto the Druid.